Elliot Van Dusen, the Corporate Director of Paranormal Phenomena Research and Investigation, PPRI, is proud to announce that our inaugural Halifax Paranormal Symposium was a spooktacular success. Thank you to all of our sponsors, vendors, and attendees. As a result of your support, we are pleased to announce the second annual Halifax Paranormal Symposium. Join us in October 2024 for an all-day event. Enjoy amazing presentations about parapsychology and the paranormal, browse our wonderful vendor tables, and enjoy the company of the spooky community. The Halifax Paranormal Symposium will be held on Saturday, October 12, 2024 at the Halifax Tower Hotel and Conference Centre from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. For information on speakers, vendors, purchasing tickets online, hotel accommodation reservations and more, visit www.ppri.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of tonight's show. I'm Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and in the province of Ontario and the northern tiers of the United States, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming, classic1220.ca. My guest this hour is a gentleman that I love having on the show because you never know where the interview is going to go. And just to think about some of the topics that I've talked to our guest about, after the show, I kind of figure, wow, it all makes sense. My guest this hour is Dr. Richard Allen Miller. And Richard, welcome back to the X Zone. It's always great talking to you. How have you been, my friend?
Oh, don't ask. I promise not to tell. Thank you, by the way, for inviting me. I could use some sales. I've got kidney stones.
Oh, geez.
Diagnosed back in April.
Yeah.
One is the size of my fist, and they don't even have surgery scheduled until late November.
Ouch.
Yeah, get a grip. Okay.
Oh, my good heavens.
Do you remember Reverend J. Gordon Melton?
Yes.
He was J. Gordon Melton was my friend, and I did seminars with him before you started your radio across the lakes up there. He was down in Chicago, and I was working under Dr. Stanley Krippner, and you should know that I am the last remaining scientist alive that worked Project MJ-12, Majestic, under Nixon. I've been to Groom Lake. When you ask me, are aliens real? My comment back to you is, how could they not be? However, anything with a face, 2 arms, and 2 legs, that's human. That's a carbon-based life form.
Right.
That means all our catalog of aliens are humans, either in the future, whatever that means, or something else is going on here. Because I've been to Prague and seen aluminum-based life forms.
Aluminum-based.
What's that?
Aluminum-based life forms. Now, where did they come from?
Where who came from?
All right, you were in Prague and you saw aluminum-based life forms, right?
Oh, yeah, it was in a laboratory in Prague. Now, let me say this about that. Um, Carbon-based life forms are extremely fragile. And because of that, that's why we're out on the rim in the petri dish.
Mm-hmm.
We're, let's say, protected by the Van Allen belt. And Gaia had the three largest life forms on Earth are an agaricus mushroom in the Blue Mountains of Oregon. A second is the Telluride is a aspen grove, and then a third mushroom up in BC, also agaricus. And I think they're the nervous system of Gaia because in a forest, the mycelium causes the forest as a unit to act like a crystal. When an event horizon occurs and precursor waves occur, be faster than light. That means that when there's a crystal that has a cleavage or a fault and it slides, the entire crystal knows it instantaneously. And a forest is similar with forest fires and other kinds of anomaly. The mother tree. There's a woman up at UBC that teaches that, by the way. And it's interesting because Sol has the heliosphere, and the fact that Saturn has the same geometry I used to take 12 NASA scientists to Mars in 1983 suggests that our solar system is also a life form protected by the Oort cloud. There it is.
Okay, now,
I know I don't know.
I'd like to go back to something that you mentioned a few minutes ago, was that MJ12. Now, a lot of people believe that MJ12 wasn't real. And what is your take on MJ12? You said that you worked on the MJ12.
This woman, she was a tall gray. I went down to level 8. What happened exactly? I don't know. I wasn't there. Harry Truman, I was 4 years old. However, Krill, okay, I worked paranormal under Schleicher, and Krill herself asked for me. She wanted to meet me. I don't know why. However, and I'll explain in a minute what that means.
Okay.
Basically, I had no idea what I was in for. I went down 8 levels, and there's this long table with a stack of top secret documents, and I started grabbing them and reading them. And 1 hour later, arbitrarily, I had what they call top secret with 3 vault permits. That means what you now call above top secret is called vault permits. That means I ran the vault. I could do anything in that vault.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need to know. Now, when I was a reader, like 3 days of the Condor, only I was real good at connecting dots in physics. Now, it's important to realize physics is not absolute because, in fact, it always starts with an assumed truth. And I've done this on your show before, but I said to you, is the Earth round or flat? And the correct answer is yes, because if the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, the Earth's round. And I have all these magnitude of doors to go through. Or if space is curved, I can prove with tensor map the Earth's flat. And we have those doors to go through. Or you can step back, use your mind as a tool rather than in belief systems, and then you have access to all the doors. And that's where man's going next if we're allowed to evolve. You know that Neanderthal had 3 rings in its DNA, not 2 like Homo sapien. It was more evolved, more advanced. Isn't that interesting?
Well, that would make me believe that Neanderthal wasn't from this planet.
Well, before Neanderthal, there were other epochs that we've gone through every 12,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that remains written. And I had to work from geology. I Greek mythology started 11,200 years ago. So there it is. It's going to be that absolute. There's the possibility that Saturn is a get out of jail card for 144,000 as a metaphor. That's why I'm training astronauts now for the Saturn I project. It requires geometry in your mind's eye, like I sent you, that moves. And that creates a wormhole, which is quite different than astral projection or remote viewing, which is more like channeling in your astral body. This is more like bilocation, where there's you that didn't have me on, I showed you, and other universes where you made different choices than it's happened today. And that's the multiverse. And we can talk about that later if you'd like. But basically, physics will probably never have a theory of everything, a toe, because it isn't my physics that makes it correct. It's your mind's eye, which is chapter 8 in my non-local mind book. The mind's eye or imagination is reality. Once you see it in your mind's eye, that's what makes it real, not my physics. Because space and time are constructs, they're not real. Astrology became astronomy. Astronomy now, because of dark matter and some other problems, is going to be called cosmobiology, the geometric relationship of celestial bodies on biological processes. An example, back in Prague, there was a guy named Embryonic that wrote the lunar sex cycle of the female. When a woman is born, an engram is set on her DNA when she ovulates. And because the moon is the trigger on that, if she moves on Earth, it's close enough, the ovulation cycle changes and you have birth control. And that was 1974. Now, there's more going on here, my dear Horatio, than anything we could possibly imagine. Are aliens real? Well, how could they not be if it's about the mind's eye?
So they're real in the mind's eye, but does that mean they're not real in physicality?
Well, I don't know. It's physical.
Well,
I mean,
you're physical. I'm physical. Yeah.
Well, you're making an assumption that space and time are real. They're not.
That's true.
They're constructs. And by the way, my holographic universe, that's why I'm rewriting it after 54 years with a couple of Russians, because, in fact, holography and fractal math is also quantized. It's going from analog to digital.
Right.
You create an uncertainty principle.
Richard, stand by. We've got to take our break. X-Zone Nation. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is our very special guest. His website is richardallenmiller.com, and we'll be back on the other side of the short break as we continue here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, and my very special guest this hour, Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Whatever you do, don't go away, because you know what? We'll be right back.
You're cracking me up. I'm starting to hear about all sorts of weird stuff.
Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's my special guest, richardallenmiller.com. Rich, I just would like to get back to MJ12 and the MJ12 papers. Like I was saying before, that a lot of people do not put any credibility into the MJ12 papers, and yet you say they're real.
Well, what I experienced was real, whether or not it was all set up or not. I have no memory of that event other than doors open. The one door open, it's like a memory of who played in the movie being there. Mm-hmm. You can see Peter Sellers' face, but you can't remember his name. It's like that. The information is there. When I came out of the meeting, it was 1 hour, 20 minutes, excuse me. 20 minutes was like a lifetime of words. They use emotions. I couldn't figure out how she could be talking inside my head. And that's what led Alan Frey and I to develop synthetic telepathy, which is not what they do. That's basically using 0.3 to 3 gigahertz heterodyne audio on it. It goes directly onto the, causes your frontal lobes to heat up and vibrate, and you can hear the sound inside your head without going through the eardrum. And it'd be perfect for space, but where you don't have sound. I don't know that one memory that opened up goes something like this. If you were to remember Earth, by choose an artifact to remember Earth by, what would it be? And if you chose the right one, correct one, you would be allowed to choose a star of your choice to complete your evolution. There's your different reticulum, Nordic strays, whatever. What would that artifact be? What would be yours? Do you have any idea?
An artifact here, I'd say I'd go with the monoliths on Easter Island.
Okay, I went with a clamshell pulling my whiskers out because that's how primitive I think Remington and Ralco and all the rest of it are. Shaving my face every day. I hate it. It's like in less than 1 year, the blades are gone and it doesn't shave right. And you can buy a new razor for $40 or you can spend $32 and get blades. That's crazy. Okay. So that's how I remember Earth by. It's stupid. I don't know what it all means, and we probably never know, actually. That's the facts, that Jack. And where did you get that music, by the way? That's really creepy. What is it? Did you make that up, or where did you get that
No,
music?
that is a new age version of the Midnight Cowboy.
Of course it is. The Midnight Cowboy. Yeah. Come back, I can still bite. Oh, no, I can't even do that anymore. Monty Python. Okay, so whether or not Groom Lake exists, it did exist because I was there and I went down. Now, whether it's now, what happened, as I understand it, and from Whitley Strieber et al., basically there was a crash in Roswell and there were 2 dead aliens and a dying alien. And when the dying alien died, they did an autopsy and a 4th alien appeared wanting the bodies. They could resurrect them, apparently. What does that sound like? It's like you're a golem. You're, using the physical body as a shell to habitate in force space. I don't know if I will ever really know what's going on. I think I get it, and then all of a sudden, the rug's pulled out from under me. For example, there's have you ever heard of billet reading, which is different than ESP? The ESP book I wrote is what I discovered at Mission Control as an altered state where your ability in guessing using hypnosis it can be increased 400 times over where you are in consciousness right now. Now, billet reading is different. I studied several people on that. There was Keith Milton Reinhardt, the Aquarian Foundation, Reverend J. Gordon Melton, I mentioned him. He was very interested in that concept. There was Jack Schwartz and Uri Geller. And billet reading goes something like this. You write down a question, you put it in your pocket, and he doesn't know what the question is, but he gives you the correct answer. And it went something like this. Mine was, prove to me you're not reading my mind. His response. In your mother's bedroom, at the foot of the bed, is a hope chest, and at the very bottom of that hope chest is a letter written 2 days before you were born. How did he do that? It's not ESP. What is it? Instinct. No, it's not that. Something else is going on here. And that's why I don't really know how to isolate the variables to study it more correctly and get some kind of a relationship where I can use it in a repeatable, reproducible. However, there's a group of ladies that are very current today that are high-end accurate in billet reading. And when I say that, I mean they are so high, NASA is interested. And it goes like they did a prediction. Something just turned the AI on Mars off after 2 billion years. What does that mean? Well, it means that maybe we're not going to have a sixth magnetic pole shift. And because 2 billion years ago, something happened on Mars that created the asteroid belt and the colonization of Earth. Now, I don't know what it was because I wasn't there and I don't have history books, but Earth does not have as much water as Mars does, which is a smaller planet. That's a fact. So here we are with what would happen if man were wiped out? What would remain? So the military said, okay, Miller, in your humble opinion, what do you think the switch was that turned these AIs on? And I thought about it. That's easy. If it's going to be a geometric relationship with celestial bodies, how about Nibiru blocking Betelgeuse in November for 4 days? That's impossible. They're at different places in the universe and they're moving at tremendous speeds and they block the precision of Earth for 4 days. That's your switch. Whether or not that's the correct one or not, that would be the one I'd study first. Did it happen? I don't know. Well, what do you mean we wait, man? That's Johnny Depp when he told the Lone Ranger, the Lone Ranger said, we're about to be slaughtered by Indians. And Tano says, what do you mean we, white man? And that's exactly what Saturn might be. And there it is. I wrote a paper. It's in my book because it happened last year. And if you don't think they want to know where that wormhole goes, because it means space and stars and galaxies are not what you think they are. And the whole thing might be alive. Who knows? I don't know. And I can guess. That's one way of looking at things. Magic with a C is hairy in your pocket, sleight of hand. Magic with a K, as I understand it, is sleight of mind, where you use your mind and your belief system as tools, not absolutes. And that's why you can look at the earth as round or flat, predicated on where you want to go. And that's magic with a K. And where beliefs are arbitrary. And you can change a belief, like the Gateway Project, using frequency following function, Monroe's work. You can do it with biofeedback, hypnosis, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting that we're about to go into a war because of belief systems. In fact, most all wars have been the result of variation in religion. And for me, religion isn't absolute. Like Jesus said it, I believe it, bang, and that's it. It isn't like that. I know that I don't know. I wasn't there. So what I did is I studied 6 years with Gershom Scholem and learned Old Hebrew and Greek and did my own translations. Newsflash, I didn't get there either, like Rome. But I'll tell you what I do know. It was in the year 1000 when Pope Innocent I declared war on the Cathars. It was the teachings of Christ and the Catholic Church going in opposite directions. That's that. There are 2 Dead Sea Scrolls from Qumran. One is about 100 maybe years old, and the other is 120 years old. Both suggest you don't put the king of Jerusalem on a cross. They put his brother Simon. And then the second one suggests they gave Simon something to drink so they could get him off the cross before he was dead. Now, did that happen? I don't know. But I can tell you that before Christ was the Son of God, he was a seeker just like you or me. He went to India, and like I did, and I became a Satsangi. I got initiated into Santmat over Ananda Marga. Basically, I did that to train my mind, using it in meditation. And all your saints, your fifth plane mystics, have always said the importance of training the mind as a tool. And you can change your belief, like who's more important, your daughter or your wife? And you may not know. And then when you do discover you want to change it, how do you do that? Well, that's a book I'm writing with another medical doctor from Alabama, Scott Cleeley, or Scotty. And Alabama was locked down and is still in lockdown right now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. You and I have to take our break. Rich, please stand by. Explanation. Dr. Richard Miller is our guest, and we'll both be back on the other side as we continue. I don't know what we're continuing, but we'll be back. Don't go away. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is our guest this hour. www.richardallenmiller.com. Your
music is creepy. I got to tell you. I mean, really, it's over the edge. There's your close encounter. I got to tell you.
Yeah,
it's slightly off key. Those are sevenths. It's crazy. I love it.
Rich, tell us about your taking the astronauts to Mars and then Saturn. How did you do that without using a spacecraft?
Take a look at the gifts I sent you and just stare at them for a little bit and watch what happens next. Now, if you can do that geometry in your mind's eye, moving it like that, there's Castaneda in its full prime. Don Juan didn't exist, but I got a picture of Don Gennaro. Peter First and I went down into southern Mexico. There's a guy down there that can leap from one hill to another. He glides like a flying squirrel. I got it on picture, and it's been in national magazines. And there's all kinds of things that are going on. Are they real? Oh, see, I don't know. I did as good as you can get as a physicist. However, physics isn't the bottom line. That's that. It's only one side of the brain.
Rich, you were saying that Alabama is under a lockdown. Why?
There was a biolab that exploded and went into all the shit went into the atmosphere 2 days ago. They say it was an accident.
What happened again, Rich? I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying.
Oh, a biolab?
Oh, a biolab, okay.
Biolab, laboratory, yeah, big one. Lots of goodies in it.
Was it exploded on purpose, or was it an accident?
Yes. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
But the way everything else is going in the media right now, you know, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, number one, never listen to the media. Number two, never believe the media.
Well, I remember when Walter Cronkite, that's the way it is, you know, and Charles Perrault were media, and it was totally different. Then Dan Rather got on it, started jumping over to CNN and other places like that, and then it went downhill in the toilet. One big flush, ka-choom. Nothing is real anymore. It's all done with mirrors. Oh, Kelvin, look over here. Oh, Kelvin, look over there. You know, your arms, your legs, everything whips around. Mm-hmm. What do you think they're doing to our children, who are way smarter than we are? Yeah, it's creepy out there. And I know that I don't know. And I'm not a conspiracist per se, mm-hmm. but I have to tell you, you got a whole bunch of them up in your area. There's a woman, Ruth, that sends me stuff every day. I'll send you a couple of her uploads. She's in your area. I think she's up near Winnipeg, further north. I don't know. Where are you located?
We're near Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Yeah, New York. And you knew Reverend J. Gordon Melton. He was my personal friend for years.
My goodness.
Yeah, he took me to Chicago when they had the original paranormal conferences before you guys did it up there. I would love to travel, and I'll sing for my dinner, but I'm not getting the shot because I'm guessing. Here's the deal on that. That I know as an anesthesiologist with tenure at the University of Washington, but that's as a physicist. Now, let me tell you what I do know. mRNA changes your DNA. And when you use the cloud with Microsoft, who owns that information? Intellectual property becomes Microsoft's ownership.
Right.
And there's a law that, after you choke and gurgle, they don't get rid of it. Oh, no. And why do you think they update their computer so many times, even though Windows 7, which I use, is perfect? Not 8.1, not 10, not 11, 360, whatever. It's all about money. Cindy Lauper. There it is. And I'm using Linux now, and Linux it requires it as well. Back in 1960, old man DuPont took 3 kids. I was one of the 3. There was Captain Crunch, Michael James Conasuccio, and me. The NASA women did not read Greek mathematics, and we invented English code. binary, and then and or not, or what you call object-oriented, or nor, NAND logic. And all of it has backdoors. Everything is hackable now. When we wrote original code, way back when, that was unbreakable. It wasn't like pretty good privacy. It was like unique. But once you set up a kitchen where you had appliances and you added blocks in, not line by line, but you did blocks like a refrigerator, a toaster, whatever. That always had backdoors. And if there isn't a good one, here, wait, there's an update. We'll get a better one. That's what's going on there. And if you don't think that they are monitoring you, naive. I mean, of course, everything is happening. And now, the eyes, even Isaac Asimov knew better with laws of interface. Otherwise, who needs man?
Rich, coming up in November, you have a presidential election in the United States.
Maybe. Yeah.
How do you see that going?
Which way do we want to see the United States breakdown? I mean, through Biden? Not Biden. What's her name? You betcha. No, it isn't even that. I can't even think of it now. And or Trump. They're completely opposite, and yet both will take us to war. What'll happen is war will start in Europe just like it ever was. Same as it ever was. And then they'll find something like Pearl Harbor or Biolab in Alabama. I don't know. It's crazy. Do you want to go to war? I don't want to go to war. What about food? What's going on with food? Seems like our storage units are blowing up, the trains, the convoys. How's that work? Well, I can tell you that the phone service that I have now is 10 times worse than it was 20 years ago. Is that because there's more people? I don't know. There's been a lot of big data, and it's easier to control a smaller group of people. So let's invent a virus and take them out. I don't know. It sounds creepy, but basically, if a pharmaceutical house changes your DNA, they own your physical body. That's a fact.
How do you mean?
What do you mean, how do I?
Well,
you mean where you're buried, how you're cremated, whatever? I don't know that part. I could tell you that I don't want to go to hospitals anymore because they're broken. I was diagnosed with kidney stones back in April. I've got infections again. That's 3 times now I've had them since April, where I had my bladder gets infected, turns red, and I scream a lot. I'm not getting the deep sleep I need because I have to get up every hour to go to the bathroom so that I'm not going into deep sleep.
Right.
Well, then there it is. It's like being on drugs for 5 days. You start to hallucinate. It gets worse. They don't even have me scheduled until late November. What? One of my kidney stones is the size of my fist. That's huge. And the pain, I'm not able to do anything. That's why you haven't seen me for a while on the radio, whatever. It's nuts. If I were under 65, I would have been within 1 week getting ultrasound, blowing it apart. As it is, the hospitals are all full with COVID. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I know that medicine is broken down. Give it a grip. That's immediately wrong. And pharmacy. They can't give me sonic blasting because I'm over 80 and I have to wait until I'm going to get 3 surgeries, 2 on one day, and 2 days later, the big one. And that's the 2 small kidney stones and the large one. And let me tell you, it's awful. I've never had this kind of pain, and I lost my arm in Cambodia. It's artificial. Most people can't tell, but I have no elbow. Can't pick my nose. It's awful. I'm kidding. But, it's medicine, at least in Oregon, sucks. I went to a second urologist an hour and a half away to try to see if I could speed things up. No, but he's going to make me go through different loops. And each one's different, but they're all playing the same song. Oh, we can give you Oxycontin for the pain. Yeah, right. That's what I want. Yeah, Oxycontin. No. So here I am, going through what isn't right because I'm over 80.
That's a crime in my books.
Yeah.
Just because you're over 80, it seems that you're replaceable. Like you're 80. It's time where you kick the bucket. So why should we put any expense and expertise in getting you to feel better? That is so wrong, Rich.
Well, then there it is. And who knows why? I've got all my medical covered. Thank you, Lord. But do you think they're going to let me live?
I hope they do.
Well, I'm O negative. I'm an alien. I do like David Bowie. When I look at you, I pull one of my contacts out. Show you I'm not real.
Stand by, Rich. You and I have to take our final break.
I got you.
Exonation, the one and only Dr. Richard Allen Miller is our guest this hour. And we'll be back as we wrap up this hour and tonight's show here on the X-Zone. Wow. I still want to get back to talking to Richard about taking astronauts to Mars via wormhole. We'll be back. Don't go away.
You can't begrudge her style, your Auntie Griselda. She couldn't but just smile and do it for free. So righteous making fudge, your Auntie Griselda.
I was waiting for so long for a miracle to come. Everyone told me to be strong. Hold on and don't shed a tear. Through the darkness and good times, I knew I'd make it through. And the world thought I had it all, but I was waiting for you. Hush, now I see.
Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is our guest this hour. www.richardallenmiller.com. And during the
Was
break...
that Melissa Etheridge?
No, that was Celine Dion.
She's hot. I love it.
We were talking that one of the things on your bucket list is to host Saturday Night Live.
I mean, really go downhill with it. You want to see some dark humor? I got it down.
Oh heavens! So what do you go? What are you doing that's new, thrilling, and exciting? Like, are you still zipping around the universe and the solar system in your wormhole?
I wished. I'm just turning into a grumpy old man because I'm being kept on a short leash. Buy my books. I promise I'll give you more for your money than anyone else. I need the incomes over my Social Security.
Who's keeping you on the short leash?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure. It's like I know something, I don't. And I'm a threat, but I'm still considered an asset, so we can't just take them out. I live in a place called Peyton Place. This is a little RV park. I don't have a problem with gays. Queer is different. Queer is when they swing at night. That's creepy.
You know, there's an old saying, Shekinah Songu, each to his own.
Well, then there it is. I did my tour with cocaine and swinging when I was very young and know what I don't want to do. And I can tell you, I gave 8 altered states to the SEAL program, and it turned them into super soldiers. Imagine what man could do if he had control of 400 altered states, rather than getting high and dropping out or recreation. Oh, well, man. Lucy, when she's 10 feet tall, she's cool then. But more as a tool where the laws of physics change, and you can do things in this altered state you cannot do in consciousness. And that's what altered states are about. They're neurotransmitters. Now, how does that work? I don't know. But I'm going to try to write a mathematical equation using knot theory. That's KNOT. I use 10 strings, string theory, 10 dimensions. I'm going to use an 11th string superstrings. It's a wormhole that interconnects them, and then I'm going to be a little Boy Scout. I'm going to tie knots. Make sure that one has 13 turns so it snaps my neck good. Just kidding. I know that there's something else going on. It isn't multiverse. By the way, I'm doing this with 2 Russians. That multiverse, it lies in what's called the proton cloud, the space between when a proton is a particle and when it becomes a wave. And all the different U's. There's a movie called Lucy. It gives you an example of that. There's another one, martial arts, called Everything, Everywhere, Right Now. That's a martial arts woman. And that's it. It's going to be like that. I don't know where it's going to take me, because you do the math and then that shows you like a fractal. The reason that holographic universe doesn't hold is that they're generators. There's Mandelbrot, there's Julia, May. These are unique and different from each other with a larger version of itself. And that is quantized. And knot theory accounts for the variations of decisions that you make every day. Do you know how many decisions I made just today? Imagine all through your life. How many?
I have no idea.
Exactly. It's not the collective unconscious of 9/10 of your cerebral cortex. It's way, way more than that. And there it is. As I rock it. I know that I don't know, but I've done things that most humans can't even fathom yet. And I've done them early on. I'm a lead scout. I'm not better. I'm a lead scout. I've been wounded. I'm being chased by Indians, and I hope you have our wagon train in a circle. Here I come. Kidding.
In your opinion, Richard, what do you think the most significant thing was that you did? Your the one thing in your life that you are so proud of.
Wow. Well, I have never been the best at anything, ever. I went to state in 2 sports in high school, and one of them I broke, not a state record, I broke a world record, and didn't even place. That has kept me more humble than I might otherwise have been. Oh man, get a grip. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm like the original kind of physicist. My stepdad, bless his heart, he taught me everything. How to throw brick and lay slate, and had a finishing shop, woodworking. Played tennis with Arthur Ashe, but Arthur was a better tennis player than I was. There it is. I was always really good at everything. Speaking, like I am right now.
Yeah.
But then there's radio jocks like you that are even better than me. So there it is. I know that I don't know, and you can't get there from here. Simon says you can go halfway to the door. Get close. No cigar.
Richard, in your opinion, what is the future going to look like?
Which one? Anything you can imagine That's what God is. God, where I can only do one wormhole at a time or one bilocation at a time, God is Lucy, who does them all at once. Every single one. That's, how do you call that? What do you call that? You can experience God, but you can't know him. And so for me, religion was always about fellowship. I sought out a group that had values I aspired toward. And including the message that they're, which is different. My parents were atheists. They sent me in high school, they sent me to Missouri Synod Catechism to armor me against the missionaries that hit high school. When I came out of grad school, I knew there was something else going on. I just, it felt in my bones. And that's when I decided to become a scholar in that also. But Gershom Scholem is better than me. See what I mean? Jelly bean. I get so good at something, and then I get bored and do something else. My IQ, MMPI, CPI is 158, 159. I was highest IQ ever measured in the state of Washington. They thought I was doing precog because they had given the answer before they asked the question, but it wasn't that. And by the way, IQ is not a measure of intelligence. It's a measure of adaptability. There are many different forms of intelligence, and women are like the alien, emotional. And that's where it's like a second tier of data. And I can't, you can experience it, but you can't explain it because it's not knowable.
Richard, if we are able to use geometry to create wormholes and go through the solar system and probably into the multiverse as well, why is it then that we are still using solid fuel rockets to propel us to the moon and elsewhere?
It's all about money, honey. Cyndi Lauper. Money changes everything. It's stupid. And but try. Okay, how about this one? There's a buoy that we developed here in Oregon that goes up and down with the tides. It creates power. Yeah. Okay, if you took that buoy and put it in Nova Scotia, that would be enough power to the entire eastern seaboard. How come they're not doing that? Well, let's see. How about changing petroleum into hydrogen? That's a real simple process. Take an automobile, when the grid goes down and there's no more, pumping stations in Saudi Arabia, and you're down and dirty. Well, taking and converting an engine, a gas petroleum engine, into hydrogen is $300 or $400, no problemo. And except you're going to blow up maybe if you're not careful, like a hydrogen balloon. But that's one way of going. Or you can wormhole. Wormholes don't work very well close by, like next door. They're better like when you're going out of the solar system.
Gotcha.
And other places.
Hey, Rich, as always, whenever you're with us, time goes by so fast. In the next 1 minute, what is your message that you'd like to share with the members of the X-Zone Nation tonight?
Armor up, suit up, and get ready to live off the grid, because that's what's happening now. And there's a movie out you want to see at the movies, right on Netflix, called Fiora, 27 years after Mad Max, Raggedy Man. This new one depicts why, even though you have an armored bunker that's impenetrable, you want to be mobile. There it is.
Richard, take care of yourself, my friend, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet here in the X-Zone. Until then, take care of yourself, and I hope that The pain of the stones is soon relieved.
How did Andy Warhol put it? Where are my weirdness when I need them? Elixir Vitae. That's right.
Take care of
I'm
yourself.
tired of this pain.
Exonation, Dr. Richard Allen Miller has been my guest this hour, and his website is, ready for this? richardallenmiller.com.
Allen is
We'll be back on the other side. We'll be back tomorrow night at the same time, 10 until midnight. Wow. Time goes by so fast when you're having fun. So until tomorrow night, my good friends, always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.